Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. We are reaching you live from here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. And my name, as usual, is Suleiman Suleiman. Today, we look at the APC governorship primaries, which were held yesterday. It was a lot of drama and intrigues, but also a lot of sighs and reliefs in some states. In some states, we had a few surprises. For example, we had a woman defeating 5 men in Adamawa State. And in Niger State, a House of Reps member defeated a deputy governor. But in many other states, there were issues around the primaries. For example, in Rivers State, two factions emerged, and we don't know which one is which. So tonight, we discuss issues around this and where the APC is leading. What happens after these primaries? What does it mean for their 2023 elections, especially in light of news that former President Jonathan has now been cleared to continue his pursuit of the presidency under the same APC. With me to discuss these issues is Honorable Usman Ibrahim, who is National Coordinator of the Buhari Osinbajo Campaign Organization. You're much welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
But before we continue, we'll take a second, and then when we return, we'll be right here with you. Stay with us as well. Thank you. You're welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and we're discussing the PDP governorship primaries and the implications of that for the upcoming elections, not only for the presidential primaries, but also for the main elections well ahead. And with me is Honorable Usman Ibrahim. Honorable Sir, the party, the APC, the ruling party, first of all, it is the ruling party, but it is lagging behind the opposition parties in terms of preparations towards these various procedures, in terms of, for example, the convention to even elect a national working committee, in terms of sales of nomination forms, and now in terms of primaries. Is that a pointer to what the elections will be like, that you're going to lag behind the opposition parties even in the elections proper?
Thank you very much, my brother. Let me make a little corrections about, my name is Honorable Usman Ibrahim, National Coordinator, Muhammadu Buhari Osinbajo Dynamic Support Group. Okay. Thank you very much, Suleiman. I think politics is like I always say, process. APC, what APC does is a process. You take it according to how the process will end. And that's what we are in now. Today, you can see that we have, election around the country on National Assembly as the most precisely like reps. And then I think tomorrow or thereabout will be Senate. And then thereafter the major one, which is coming up at the, APC will curtail that, will control that, and it will go on as smoothly as people expect. Inshallah, we'll get it right.
Thank you. These elections, these governorship elections, we started with the PDP. And one of the issues that we saw in the PDP has somehow even become even more intensified in the APC. The issue is having parallel primaries in some states. You have had that more in the APC than in the PDP. Why is that?
As of now, I don't think there's any parallel in APC at which state. No, I don't think there's anyone except a PDP. I heard about Kano or something
Kano,
of that
yes.
nature, but at least they've settled that one too.
But you have quite a number of aspirants from the APC complaining, some even threatening to go, at least in the newspapers, to go to court with these issues. Would that affect your primary elections, given the tight corner in which all the parties are placed?
Actually, the court goers are normal. They are either in the APC or in the PDP. There is normal in Nigerians way. Some people are just there to come in and die things and make sure that they go to court. But that is their own business. But politics, right now, as APC is making it, I think is the right direction they were taking. But definitely, you can't control all over. But at least we can see things is going smoothly. So far, so good.
Thank you. But the party, does it have, because your ruling party, the cost is of this kind of crisis at this point the cost may mean not just losing, even if it may mean losing elections in many states, particularly in states where you're already not strong, where you have divisions, for example, in Rivers, but not just Rivers, in Sokoto, in many other states like that. Does the party have any mechanism, to avert outcomes that can lead to losing elections later on?
Well, I like I said, it's as a process with its own it, and of course, I believe APC so far so good. I think I read them 90% right now in terms of the mechanism and process and winning elections. I believe that's a Nigerian they can see for themselves. There's no crisis, there's no wrangling here and there and all of that. It is smoothly going.
Thank you.
You see,
Then, go
ahead. Some people have, like, you're trying to mention somebody from other party comes down, and it's normal. How many of them come from other party, opposition party, and some of them will flip. So it is very it is making the job easier for us so that they'll say, yes, we are important and people can come in and so on and so forth. But we from the support group angle, we look at the capability of the individuals within the party. And that's who want to support the person that will take us to the next level.
Thank you. So, but one of the issues also, which we saw in the case of the PDP, but which is also imagined in the APC governorship primaries as well, is that you now have fewer delegates, than were expected. For example, the presidential election, the presidential primaries were supposed to have 7,800.
But now it's 2,000 something, right?
Now it's not up, it's just less than half of that. Yeah. What does that imply for the process itself?
Well, there's a huge number there. I think there's no space to be accommodated, I believe, based on the law and what have you. But I think with the 2,000 and something, I think that's enough for us to make it. Normally on those days, I don't think it's more than that. I think that's what the fair thing we can do. And of course, we're looking at the party itself, the mechanism they're applying. I believe it's okay. It's okay with whoever think, well, that is what's supposed to be. Let's get this right. We're looking at the capacity and also and how the crowd and things of the nature, something of that nature.
But some in some states, some people are complaining that the delegate list, has been duplicated. You're having a different delegate list than the one they knew at the beginning of the primaries, for example, in Lagos and some other states,
Well, that could be a news item, but I believe, to my knowledge, I don't think I have that information, I believe. So it is normal things. People will complain, and the process will continue. That is what it is.
Thank you. So what about the issue of monetization? For example, in many states, there were allegations that the candidates, the aspirants who emerged as candidates, had those ones that have paid much more money, or the, let's say, highest bidders, as some people have alleged.
You see, in some cases, like a little, some research we made about people's opinion and so. Some people feel democracy is all about money. To some people. But we got time to make them be aware that it's not about money. It's about safeguarding the democratic process of the country. So some of them understand. But if you feel that somebody just say, yes, I'm okay, I'm with you, I'm all of that, if you can have something to give me, that's only their own cup of tea. But I think it's a must, or rather it is a benchmark that must be given like that. People have their own right also to express that, yes, I get money, I don't get money, that's their business. But so far, the process is very good. It's excellent. So far, I don't think there's any problem.
Yes, but it's fine for a politician and a party member like you to say the process is excellent, and we understand.
Very excellent.
But maybe Nigerians have a different
they have their own also opinion
of the process.
They can say that that's why we have this freedom of everything. So I believe, even if between me and you now, I just give me some assignment and said, Alaji, you've done well, I'm okay, appreciable, that kind of a thing. It's a nature, woman, But at least so far, APC is doing well. APC is not something that is going viral and people are saying, but people are entitled to their opinion. So far, everything is good.
But people are feeling that the two major parties do not offer Nigerians much choice, in the sense that the processes are similar. The things that Nigerians used to reject in the PDP have continued to do, and the APC have also taken up and is doing even more of that, talking about paying delegates in order to have them vote. These are not the sort of things that many Nigerians expected from the APC, or a party that you have someone like President Buhari leading. Most people feel that, okay, if anything, this party will give us an example, but maybe why are people still feeling that they are having more of the same of what they used to have in the PDP?
No, I don't think that's true. It's absolutely wrong. The process in APC, I think we can see it is very transparent, and I think we have a Nigeria that express themselves. Take it from somebody who will continue with Buhari, for example. Buhari achieved a lot of achievement, a lot of things that you can see. You don't need to name, but you can see it for yourself. That yes,
you can actually name. It's a politics program. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you see, there are many projects he made, abundant. He completed them, and some he created by himself, and he did everything accordingly. And it is only logical one to see that whoever succeeds him will just stop on it and continue with it, and the things will solidify. This is one of the things that Nigeria should appreciate by the president, since he is not a kind of man that he wants to make money. He's here to serve the country. But people felt before it was a business as usual, got that kind of things. Now Buhari closed that something. That is his own crime. That's just it. It's open. But for Nigeria now to see in this moment, in this global situation that we are now, Nigeria to reach this level, would be the first African in our economy. Just recent former American president was telling Nigeria how our economy is strong and all of that. That's something that Nigeria should applaud, should appreciate. We need somebody that knows that system, so that from there he would just continue with it.
By somebody, I'm assuming you're probably itching to talk about Vice President Osinbajo.
Yes, let me just say it clearly. He's the one deserved to be there.
Okay, we will come to that on the second half of the program. But for now, let's look at the states' primaries that you have had so far, particularly in the states where you have had surprises, and in other states where there's not been much surprise. You have about...
I should buy with you right now, because you mentioned one already, like that of Niger State. Look at a young man, and because of his goodness and his relation with the people, look at how they elected him. That is a Umar Bago in Niger State. When there's a deputy governor there, that is another case study. That's another example, which is typically that APC is a party to beat. That is one of these. Then I think other crisis areas that you can see, even a lady from one of the states that emerged, of course, but I'm not from there. I'm not going to speak for them. But that is the process of democratic, of APC that is making it right for people to see that yes, it's a thing that can come and for the goodness of all, and APC party to beat. I'm sure there's a fair play and credible election and whatever. That's what Buhari is trying to offer to us, and we're going to get it.
Yeah, interesting. So what about Adamawa State? This one is interesting for many Nigerians, because you now have a woman emerging as the governorship aspirant of that state, and she didn't just emerge as someone who was unpicked. She emerged after defeating 5 men.
That's right.
Some of them very big names, including former EFCC chairman, Malan Nurubadu, and the immediate past governor of the state, Senator Jibrila Bindo. What makes this possible? Is there anything within the party itself? Is there any kind of support system that the party gives to women to advance them to such elective positions?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That the party is so strong and so ideal about that. No matter the situation, they control it, they curtail the situation, and things will work accordingly, according to the process and what have you. That's why it's surprising for us to see that maybe because of lack of advancing in democratization and what have you, that woman be like us, and the constitution did not deprive women from being there. She can be, and she will even be better than all of them. I think that is a good one, and I think I applaud the APC for that.
Interesting. But yesterday there was, while the elections were going on, there were news, at least on social media, that the same lady, Senator Aisha Binani, she was that money was flying around and changing hands, and that influenced her emergence as the party's candidate.
Exactly that, not to my knowledge. I don't think that could be social media things and of that nature, but I believe what has transpired in Adamawa yesterday is exactly what you said. There are other former governors and former whatever. She came down and played her card, and that's what the party does. And that is what it is now.
So what about the governors like Zulum Buni, Governor Yahaya of Gombe State, Governor Buni of Malabuni of Yobe State, and Babagana Zulum of Borno State, and a few other states that are returning, for their second term, Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State, and so on. It appears in their cases they've just given a free ride. They didn't have any contenders competing against them. Is that fair for democratic process?
Very fair, because the something is glaring everybody to see. Take example of Zulum, Professor Zulum of Borno State. Nobody would even fear man would let that person to come and say I want to contest because he's doing everything right, and people are thanking him for that. So I don't think that anyone will say, well, whatever he's doing, I think if already do it, so let me know what's my time. That is one, because it's all about governance, good governance, and he's doing that. I believe others follow as well. So that's the good things for a state or other, because Zulum is an excellent person who is not corrupt, is not anything, is doing the right thing, and what have you. You can go to Maiduguri and see for yourself. I believe others follow as well, and that is one of the good tenets of democracy. That's why the democracy in the APC area is thriving, and it's making it good.
What about Zamfara State, where the governor was not originally an APC person? He actually literally ran back into APC, and now he's been given the party ticket for a second term in a state that a lot of people feel that you have these challenges of security, insecurity, even payment of WAEC and so on. To what extent do such a person...
It's not surprising, Mr. Suleiman, that when it comes to rule of law or in a tenet of democracy, how we do it, give me, I give you, and all that. It's a constitutional matter. The party itself, or rather the constitution of the country, that the two things of him. Either you do when you do primary, either direct or indirect, or the barber of all is consensus. If people agreed and said yes, we agree with that person, that continue. Consensus is open. Obviously, so those people, these things is not surprising. I think it's for the party to see that yes, they can make, even the president, they can make consensus if they like. So I think there's nothing wrong with that. But people saying here and there, they're entitled to their opinion. I think it's a free world. Let everybody express his feeling, as long as you are not forcing anybody on it. So,
thank you. And then you have Kano State as well, where the deputy governor has picked the party's ticket, which is one of the few states where deputy governors have been able to pick up the tickets of their principals across the board, not just in the PDP, but also not just in the APC, but also PDP. But Kano is also unique, in Nigerian politics, but particularly so now, because you just witnessed movement of certain political bigwigs in the state, like former governor of the state, Malam Ibrahim Shekaro, moving out of the APC with his supporters into the NNPP. Doesn't that pose a serious challenge to APC losing that state beyond the primaries?
Thank you very much, Suleiman. I think we look at Kano, like what we mentioned. Kano is a significant, definitely. when you look at to be fair and be precisely just, let us be fair to Ganduje. Ganduje made an existing structure and continue with it. He made a tremendous achievement over there. Let us be frank to him, even if it be honest, because if he felt he had that with that achievement and he look at somebody deputizing him and he can continue with that, I think it's so big. I believe I supported that move. Instead of, some people, their motive is a different way. Look at President Buhari, for example. He came and made some project that was initiated by Goodluck Jonathan, the good one, more especially the rail trails and all of that. I think he continued with it, and now look at it. It is working for us. So the same thing with that, I think, is something that we can find to judge, but people's opinion is always difficult for you to curtail. So you need to bear with some of the circumstances and all that.
Thank you. But there are states that have never been taken by any party other than PDP, where some notable candidates have emerged in that state. We're talking about, for example, Delta State, where the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovi Omoagege, right, has now emerged as the APC candidate of the state. But the state has been
dominantly PDP.
Definitely since 1999.
Yeah.
They've never voted any other party into power in that state. What hope does the APC have of bringing those states into its fold?
Well, I think a political affiliation, or rather party affiliation, I think that's not really matter now. What we are looking at, the person, the particular individual matters now. And if the Delta State people felt that Omoagege is the right person to continue with whatever you want to do with it, I think it's a good one. And I support that for APC, and I wish them well.
But do you see it being possible for a state that has always voted PDP so how are you going to make it work?
Well, PDP, just like I said, just platform of, it can turn to anything. I believe he deserves to be there. Since he left being a deputy Senate president, and now he's going for Senate, for governor. I think he deserves to go there. And if people gave him that mandate, I believe he will continue with it. And inshallah, wish him well.
Interesting. So that takes us to neighboring Bayelsa State, which also has interesting developments. You have the Minister of State for Petroleum, the former Minister of State for Timipre Silva, one of their big shots. But you also now have former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is said to be in contention for the for the APC's presidential ticket. So do you see that state also, which has always voted PDP, just like its neighbor?
Well, I beg to keep away from that, because I don't think it's to my knowledge right now. I believe it's not clear. It is just mere speculation of news around. It is not even a time for us to go there. So he has expressed, what have you forgotten before that Jonathan will now be coming to a party, and at this crucial time to be, that's people's opinion, and I believe they have their right to express their opinion. But to me, I don't have any knowledge about that.
Some people will say he forgot the remaining 4 years of his constitutional.
So you want to constitutional, we have 10 years? I don't think we have 10 years. We only have 4 years, which it did 8. It did 6. Who is going to give him the 2 years? Halfway to go.
Interesting. So this takes us to the implications that these primaries can have on the presidential election.
On which ways?
For example, do you think the presidential primaries, do you think that the primaries will have any impact, in terms of what the governors will do, who will be emerging, or even this new
Nigerians are very
contenders?
aware about everything now, and I definitely they will choose the right person. Instead of people feeling, they're truly talking here, say, and all of that. Definitely that Monday or Sunday, definitely the right candidate will emerge in the APC.
Interesting. So, but maybe before we will continue, we'll just take a short break. Thank you for staying with us. So far, we've been discussing and reviewing the APC gubernatorial and state assembly primary elections that held yesterday. And with me is Honorable Usman Ibrahim, who is the national coordinator of the Buhari Osinbajo Dynamic Support Group. We'll be returning with an additional guest. When we return, we'll be here for you. Stay with us as well. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and we're discussing and reviewing the APC gubernatorial primaries, which held yesterday. And with me is Honorable Usman Ibrahim, who is National Coordinator, Muhammad Buhari Osinbajo Dynamic Support Group, with whom we've been talking. But our second guest has just joined us. He is Dr. Kailani Muhammad, who is Buhari National Coordinator, Votes Vanguard. Votes Guard and Awareness, also known as Akasa Atare Araka, and also the National Publicity Secretary of the Presidential Support Committee.
Yes.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
So we were just going into how the primaries that you have just concluded, what they will mean to the coming presidential primaries in the next few days. So far there's been no clear direction from anywhere where the primaries, the presidential primaries are going. But based on what we have seen in the governorship primaries, we have seen a few surprises. Should Nigerians expect surprise also in the presidential primaries?
So far, I'm not going to say so good. You see, silence has no meaning. There's never a feeling of tranquility or mere quietness. There's never a moment of soundless calm into a silent space. That's why I'm here. And we are not in Quenquest straight arms so far that we should be afraid to tell grey bears the truth. Only yesterday, our former president, Jonathan, said the whole system of the primaries is just a mess, because people have been induced, the delegates were induced with money. The former chairman, INEC, Professor Jega, called it a plutocracy, not democracy. Plutocracy is just how, he's saying that the system now is just for the wealthy. You see, that's why we, for example, in Kaduna State, where I came from, the primaries, what I heard, there were elections about, 6 months ago of the delegates. But only about 4 or 5 days ago, what surprised many, they changed all the delegates. That's why Shaban now is crying, the other aspirant, saying you may be going to court. And what we had, they go for the highest bidder, those delegates. They are determining our future. Only few people. Some, they say they gave them 1 million, the other people came. The same people that are, contesting with them will give 2 million. Other one, the other person came who they gave the national, those that are to come to the National Assembly. I won't mention names. He gave 3 million.
Okay.
The whole delegates now went and gave him the votes. I'm not saying the whole exercise is not good. For example, in Niger State, what we had this morning, some people gave money, but somebody that led the delegates to the event, he told them, look, in Niger State, for example, from Mina to Bida, no good roads. From Bida to Lambata, no good roads. All they need is they should get somebody who is trustworthy, somebody that is sincere. It's not the issue of money, because once you induce people with money, by the time they assume office, what they will do is to recoup that money. And they may not do anything. So they now voted for Bago. I learned most of our leaders, they went for another candidate. That's for APC.
Okay.
Because already, I think in Niger State, they zoned the...
But you are saying this, but as a party member, some people would say that you're also in the same party.
Yeah.
And whatever the delegates do also applies to other members. Nigerians cannot tell a difference between those APC members that are delegates, those who are delegates and they didn't take money, and those who are delegates and took money. Nigerians just know APC is APC, regardless of who is there.
You see, what I'm trying to do here is to clarify and to make sure we advise the delegates. All of us cannot be wrong. All of us cannot be bad. These delegates were actually appointed or imposed on the people by the governors. I kept saying that these governors, I'm not saying all.
But the delegates were elected. There were, Honorable Ibrahim, there were elections at local government and other lower levels of the party structure to elect those delegates. This is probably the first election in the country in which statutory delegates, that governors could not be part of the system. So these delegates were in fact elected. Could they still have been imposed by governors if they were elected?
Well, my partner, my brother, yes. I think he's talking out of experience, but to me, I don't have that experience because I'm not an agent to any delegate. I only see the practical ones. I believe the process of delegate and all of this is a complicated issue because nobody will prove no evidence of anything and so on. So we keep that topic aside because it's left for the electorate to decide how they want to do it. It's their own business. If you ask me the question, I should give an answer is who is to be next and who am I supporting? I think this is my position here.
Okay.
I rather answer that question better.
We'll definitely come to that, because one issue is...
Let me cut in here.
Okay.
He said he has never had this experience before. I've had it. There was a time... At this process,
I don't have. I'm not an agent.
Okay,
I've never taken
what I'm telling you, but even if you are not an agent, as a leader, you're supposed to excogitate, think, and make sure you follow the processes of our election so that the right people should be elected to govern us so that there will be development in this country.
No, definitely.
So if you are saying you are not part of this thing, then that is not good. As
no,
it's not, statement.
No. It's
so
not like...
we are watching...
I'm not negating. I'm not asking anybody, anybody's
so
secret.
Governors, whether we like it or not, they are very influential.
Okay.
They dictate what happened in each state. For example, we say, give us autonomy in local government. The governor says, no. Give autonomy to House of Assembly members. They say, no, they even went to court. It was just yesterday that the court said the local government must be given autonomy.
Yes.
and even the state houses of assembly. So whether we like it, for example, look at what happened in all the governors have a say, they have the influence, and they control the delegates. They have the power, they have the money. And that's what is happening. What we are saying is they should make amends. We are, in the next few days, 48 hours, we are going to conduct our primaries for the presidential race.
Yes.
We want a good president in this country. We want, plain level ground, free, fair election. If they do that, if the delegates collect money, you see, if it's plain in this country that it's all about money. And that's why our leaders are now saying it. These delegates were elected, but the leaders of those states are the ones controlling them. At times they even lock them out. You don't see them until...
So, Honorable Usman, he just said something very significant, that in the next 48 hours, your party both, you're going to sit down and vote for the presidential candidate, which will then represent the party in the general election in February. Within your party, the APC, he wants you as a party to vote someone that will, change Nigeria for the better. Who do you think is that person right now in the APC?
Are you asking me to tell you my candidate, or they are my person I'm trying to support? Well, I don't have voting power, but not being a delegate. But at least if I can influence in any way, I think I'd rather take Oshibanjo.
Okay.
So that he can continue what Buhari has laid down in Hassan's treatment. I think that is my own partake, and that's my stand.
Well, what are those things that he will continue? That
he asked me that earlier, that question, and I told you about it. There's so many projects that he came and made, and he continued with it. And I think it's people that can see, and so on and so forth. But the process of, if you go back to where he says about the delegate, everybody has his own reserve, reasons why not saying it or so. The party, both parties are like that. But the one I belong to now, I applaud them so far. If this is how they want it to be. All I mean is, if a good person emerge, he can change those things that are questionable. I think I agree with him. If the delegate would have conscience, like he cited example of Niger State, looking at a young man, a very pragmatic person, and he just labeled of being a honorable member in the House, and he was chosen, not the one with that money back and so on. I think that's a plus. We just pray for exciting to continue. I think that is my stand.
Thank you. So, but
for me, let me continue.
Okay, good.
I supported the vice president earlier, but have withdrawn my support.
That's all right.
Because if you check my history, I've been a unionist, I've been an emancipator, I've gone to prison several times. I worked for President Muhammadu Buhari. I went to prison. I was in charge of vote guard and awareness. But the way things are going now, from all the histories we had, this man, if he's elected, there will be religious war in Nigeria.
Okay.
There are about 10 points you wrote from America. He has not come out to tell us that those things are false. Number one, out of the 1,000 appointments the VP gave out, he only gave out those appointments to his Christians RCCG, that is a regime church of group. Over 1,000 appointments, even other Christians are crying. Then there was an incident in Ogun State. I'll just mention 3, but there are about 11 of them. Want him to come and clarify to us that all those things, the allegations are false, they are fallacious and contradictory. Number 2 is the issue of, in a church in Ogun, when they were, having a service, the pastor was, that time, the president was out of the country, he was sick, receiving treatment in overseas. Then he was praying, we hope the president will not come back, he will die. In the corner of the church, the VP was saying army. It's a recorded.
I think I have to give a right of reply, and then we steer the discussion
away. The third
away.
one, I said, let me mention three. The third one. You see, we are all Nigerians. God brought us together, and He knows our differences. Despite our differences, we must have to come together to deliver this country to promised land, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim. We have to build this country for the betterment of our future generation. The third one, a Christian was having a similar name of a Muslim. They want that boy to be given an appointment, but the VC said he should go and change his name to Christian name. Maybe Yakubu something, or Ibrahim something that is attached to his name. There are about 11 items Perogi enumerated.
Honorable, all of these are already out there in the public domain. They're already out there in the media.
Yes.
And they've been brought here against the Vice President Osinbajo. How do you respond to these so that we can go back to the discussion on the primary
I duly respect my brother here, but I've been surprised for him to say that kind of word in public. Gathering here. People are hearing, people are listening. I don't think ever since you invited me here, I mentioned some personality. Not to talk of a Vice President of Nigeria asking some reason, simply because you are in support and withdrawn now. Did I mention anybody such like that? No.
You mentioned him.
I'm in support. Yes, but I didn't say.
He is saying that
I just support him because I support what he's continuing with what Buhari has left. Or Buhari for chief. That's what I am.
There are certain things you continue with.
He has the right of reply.
Yes, that is my reply to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Being an elderly statesman, I think in politics, you have your right. You can make a choice. I think what we need to discuss about is not about quarreling. Not quarreling. It's just an opinion. Yeah. We can even, as we are stating now, we can be together now.
You're in the same
and
party,
agree.
for goodness sake.
Yes. The same party after all. What we need to do is let's pray. Let's understand this country belongs to all of us. Let's change these small mistakes that is going around, not to trust in ourselves. I trust Uchmandu. I've never had anything, whether in exchange of anything, but as a person I know. The little I know about him, I trust him. I don't think all the contenders, both of them in APC, I don't think there's anybody that can match towards him.
Thank you.
There are something I heard about him, but also my brother, I believe, I'm sure in doing such thing, there's something that triggers somewhere. We can also have a solution to that. It is we're human beings, and we want to make mistakes, and we correct our mistakes. That's what it's supposed to be.
Thank you, Dr.
Let's
Kilane,
make the party great. That's what I envisage. I believe.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not quarreling my brother.
No, but we will. But I have another question.
This is politics.
We will need to come together so that we can make a difference.
In any case, you are going to. When you go out, it's me. You live here, so you go out together as the same party members.
That's what I say.
The issue is.
But let me reply.
To what extent? No.
Before you ask me
no. We have to go on.
I'm a journalist.
We have to go on, sir.
Okay.
I insist.
Let's go ahead.
So the issue is that. Should we expect similarly the influence of money in the presidential primaries of both parties, not just PDP, I mean APC only, but of both parties? Should we be expecting money to be as influential as it has been, or at least it has demonstrated to be and to have been in the governorship and senatorial and other?
Let's democracy. Wait.
I'll come back to you, sir.
The West are taking our country. If you are not rich, don't even smell. I was told to come and contest in Niger State.
Okay.
They called me several times. There was a time I contested for governorship in Kaduna State. I saw what I saw. I contested for House of Reps. I won election. But at the point of collection, after collection, counting, it was hijacked. And let me tell you, the police, the INEC staff, and also the party members, I think they have to zero their minds and do the right thing. This is our country. We don't have any other country. Let us do the right thing. If a carpenter or somebody who is mending shoes or an orange seller, once they come out, for them to be voted, and they are good, we should shun money. Let us go and give these people, let them deliver for us. It's all about trust. You see, the question you ask, the only thing that can stop money now, in the next 48 hours, and it seems the aspirants have been very careful now, is consensus.
Okay.
Once a person is picked, then money bags will shy away from it. They will just urge the delegates to normalize according to what the Constitution says. But as for now, if we are to go for the real delegates election, money, money, money.
Thank you. So, Honorable Usman Ibrahim, do you see the presidential primaries of your party, but also of the other party, as a Nigerian, you know?
We build the party.
Yes. Do you see it going to the highest bidder, or do you see a consensus candidate somewhere along the line?
I think at this moment, I believe I should rather, be with him, because we need all these issues of money bags or thereabout. People should desist out of, because if it is all about money, we'll not get the right candidate for a choice. So you'd rather think of that altogether as national. But we, as at the moment, thinking of our own party that consign us, right? Because other parties is an opposition party, so it's none of our business. Let's concentrate on APC, what APC is going to do next. Inshallah, I pray that Almighty Allah will guide us to get the right candidate, to get the right candidate, I repeat, instead of whether it's through the money or through whatever it takes. If you can get that one, changes is something that has to be divined by Almighty God. Maybe we'll get it right. So let me speak stop at this level.
Thank you. So final word, because our time is up.
If you go to England,
yes,
it's a beach. If you go to England underground, it's a beach. You see, but they are playing democracy, government of the people, for the people.
And by the people.
You will see brothers and sisters. I remember one time when I was in Chelmsford. You will see families. This one is for that party, another one for that. But at the end of the day, when somebody wins, they come together.
Yeah.
And what they do is to make sure that they forget their differences.
Everything.
They now put their country at heart.
First.
How do we grow our country? It's not like that here. So what I want to say, we have about 23 aspirants. There were 25, some withdrew. Now, for me, I've been with President Muhammadu Buhari in the last 20 years. We've been spending our money, our time, our resources, our energy. And we attempted about 4 times. God brought him. Out of all of them, is one who is trying to be honest. All those people that are surrounding him, they need to change. So they need to change for good. They know us, we know them. So for me, I'm no more, in this particular 2023, I'm not going with the Northerners.
Okay.
I'm going with the Southerners.
Name the candidate you support, so that just one more name, and then we.
What I want, let's microzone to South-South.
Okay, so but I think that with that
we should microzone. You can come and follow us.
Can we personal zone to a particular person? You know, beyond South-South, can we say, okay, zone further to a particular individual, and who would that individual be?
Zone further,
so that,
for me.
Yes.
You see, I spoke with Tinubu.
Who is that person? Just two words.
I spoke with Osibanjo. I took a cursory look into all the aspirants. Somebody somewhere said, Dr. Kelani, come in the South-South. That's Honorable Goswill Akpabio.
Okay.
He said, come, assist us. He was with us before. He was our national coordinator, presidential support committee. Along the line, there were skirmishes. But now we have come back together. We believe we are going to support him, and he's going to be a good president in this country.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Honorable Usman Ibrahim, for coming on the show.
You still want to ask me whether I should name my... I told you where my own is from.
No, we have to go.
I am with Buhari, like you said, right from time.
Okay.
And I want Buhari, what he has, made for us right now. Somebody should continue with it. And that person is who's supposed to be the right person who knows the corners and everything, and is the vice president.
Anybody that wins,
he knows.
Any one of them that wins will support him.
Yeah, of course, that's what the party, of course, yes.
And this man is my slave.
We're really short of time now. That's quite interesting, but we're really short of time now. It's been interesting to have both of you on the guest, Honorable Usman Ibrahim. Thank you also for coming on the show, Dr. Kailani Muhammad. It will be nice to have you on this show.
He's my brother.
Thank you also for staying with us as we bring you this edition of Daily Politics on Trust TV. We do promise that next week we will have even more of this menu, even more of this diet on the menu for you when we meet again on Monday for another edition of Daily Politics. My name is Suleiman. Goodbye.